Coming up on the Angus Report, learn how vaccinations and the diseases they prevent affect cow pregnancy from South Dakota State Extension Specialist and Professor George Perry. The National Western Stock Show is less than a month away, and you don't want to miss the 2018 National Western Angus Bull Sale. Mark your calendar for Wednesday, January 10th. Jay Stomprud didn't grow up on a farm. We hear about his unique route to ranching. Then we look ahead to what 2018 holds for the recently selected Angus Ambassador, Sydni Lienemann. This is the Angus Report. Hello and welcome to the Angus Report. I'm Bob Cervera. Our top news this week. Years of research conducted at South Dakota State University shows that diseases and the vaccination used to prevent them can affect fertility. At the 2017 Range Beef Cow Symposium, South Dakota State's George Perry rolled out research results that details how modified live vaccinations affect heifer and cow reproduction in a number of scenarios. Here's what Perry said.
So what we've actually been looking at over the past several years is how modified live vaccines given pre-breeding, even in well-vaccinated animals, can have effects on reproductive performance. And what we've actually seen in two different studies that have encompassed 19 different herds and over 3,000 animals is that a modified live given pre-breeding, anywhere from 27 to 89 days pre-breeding, can actually have a negative effect of somewhere between 5 and 8% lower AI conception rates compared to the controlled inactivated vaccines that we've used. In thinking about how to utilize this information, one of the things you need to consider is working with your local vet on what your exposure level is. So if your local vet thinks you are a high-risk herd or that your herd gets exposed to high levels of viruses, the recommendation might be different. However, if it's a well-managed herd that is considered a low-risk herd, then looking into the inactivated vaccines given pre-breeding, we can actually see benefits in AI conception rates. And so you have to weigh the risk factors of each herd in utilizing it, but we definitely can see benefits by switching to an inactivated vaccine.
Perry was a featured speaker at this year's Range Beef Cow Symposium in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Visit rangebeefcow.com for more event coverage. The American Angus Association puts on one bull sale every year. It's an Angus tradition that celebrates a rich history and breed success. Last year, almost 2,500 people crowded the historic Stadium Arena in Denver, making the event the largest cattle sale in the building since the 1950s. David Gazda, Association Director of Regional Managers, recapped last year's overwhelmingly successful sale.
The 2017 National Western Angus Bull Sale, we had 45 lots from breeders throughout the country, and we averaged a solid 68.05 this year on our Angus bulls. You know, just the venue here to come to Denver, this stock show has always been recognized as the granddaddy of all stock shows. And, you know, there again, breeders, big, small, if you've got 5 head, you've got 5,000 head. It's an opportunity for any breeder, any size, and Angus breed to come out here and participate, because we do open this up into our entire membership. So it's an opportunity to come out here and showcase your genetics, showcase your program in front of, you know, what is considered probably the most knowledgeable cattlemen, you know, in the country, both commercial and purebred. It was really quite an event. I mean, it was, I think, a great showcase for the Angus breed and our breeders.
The upcoming 2018 sale is quickly approaching. Mark your calendar for Wednesday, January 10th. Visit angus.org to see more details. The Resistome Tracker, a new tool launched by the Food and Drug Administration, could change the way we think about antibiotic resistance in cattle. The program uses genomic information to track antimicrobial resistance and pathogens. Right now, the Resistome Tracker is only focused on Salmonella, but eventually it'll include E. coli and other foodborne pathogens. It can be used to customize visualization by antibiotic drug class compared to resistance genes across different sources, identify new resistance genes, and map selected resistance genes to geographic locations. Though it's currently designed for researchers and public health officials, it's a huge step forward to produce a safer food supply. According to an FDA press release, the Resistome Tracker represents a major step forward in resistance monitoring that'll enhance the scientific foundation for the FDA and others when evaluating the impact of antibiotic use on the evolution and spread of resistance. The new technology also goes a long way to assuring the public that those involved in the production of the protein supply are exercising due diligence to make sure animal agriculture is not contributing to the spread of antibiotic resistance. Well, we've all heard it. A vegan diet is better for the environment. But what if animal agriculture no longer existed and all Americans turned to a vegan lifestyle? USDA and Virginia Tech researchers explored the idea and released their results in November. The study found that without food animal production, the U.S. would face major challenges to meet the nation's nutritional needs. And the study revealed that halting all animal production today would only drop U.S. greenhouse gas emissions by less than 3%. It's unsurprising the study reported a plant-based diet requires more food and daily calories since available plant-based foods aren't as nutrient-dense as meat. Researcher Mary Beth Hall says, quote, "Different types of carefully balanced diets can meet a person's needs and keep them healthy," unquote. She also says there's a difference between what's possible when feeding one person versus feeding everyone in the U.S. In conclusion, the assessment suggests that removing U.S. animal agriculture would reduce agriculture greenhouse gas emissions slightly, but would create a food supply incapable of supporting the U.S. population's nutritional requirements. The study confirmed what we already know to be true. Ranching is here to stay. Grazing cattle on cornstalk residue is an economic way to keep cattle fed during winter. Cornstalk residue also makes great round bales to feed cattle all winter long. But does grazing residue have a different impact on the field compared to baling? The University of Nebraska released a research report based on a 2-year study across Nebraska to gauge the effects of grazing and baling on subsequent yields. Cattle producers can rest assured knowing that, in the short term, grazing and baling cornstalk residue have no negative impact on grain yield or harvest index. That's according to research results. But unlike grazing, baling resulted in a greater loss of ground cover and some soil nutrients. When we return, we visit Jay Stomprud, a first-generation rancher in South Dakota. Then we hear from the 2018 Angus Ambassador, Sydni Lienemann, who was just named at the 2017 Angus Convention in Fort Worth. Visit angus.media to continue watching this episode of the Angus Report.
Out here, we begin each new day the same way, by saddling up and heading out to interrogate some of the world's toughest secret keepers. They're never gonna tell us that they don't feel right, and that's one secret we just can't afford to have between us. I know when we find them, we can fix them. Because if there's one thing better than having a secret, it's having a secret weapon. It's a Prevo.
Preferred's line of squeeze chutes and sweeps are easy on the cow, easy on the cowboy. Preferred chutes offer the easiest operating head gate on the market with locks guaranteed for life. They also feature an emergency side exit with lever return, removable bottom access panels, contoured drop sides, and the easiest side adjustment in the industry. If you're in the market for products for your farm, ranch, or rodeo, give the good folks at Preferred a call. Preferred, America's #1 name in farm, ranch, and rodeo.
How many genomic profile tests have been designed specifically for Angus cattle?
There's only one profile created specifically for Angus cattle, and that's Angus GS. Created at Angus Genetics, it's based purely on Angus DNA. Angus GS will have better predictability and deliver more power and accuracy than any previous genomic profile ever. And I know because I designed it that way.
For Angus, by Angus. Angus GS.